stronger international economy, we want a stronger Britain, therefore we recommend you stay in. Every time the Out campaign have used the country as a model, as Albania, the leaders of that country have come out the next day and said, but why? You guys are better off as you are. There's a reason that all of our generals, our security forces, our chiefs of police, our trade unions, our political parties, even the majority of the Conservative Party is campaigning for in. This is not 50-50. It is the narrow sectional interest of a very small section of society who have been working for 25 years and think this is their moment. And there is a reason that Ed Miliband and Harriet Harman and Tom Watson and all of our politicians on the left have said that a fraud is being perpetuated on the English people and the British people. And the answer is that this will divide our country and it will make us Little Britain. We are talking about restoring borders. We are talking about another Scottish referendum. We are talking about us saying that we wish to be smaller rather than bigger in the world. We are talking about turning our back on our allies. We are talking about turning our back on our customers as a country. And we are talking about turning our back on prosperity. And for what? For what advantage? You know, Patricia is a conspiracy theorist. I realise that as I've been standing here. Only she knows that the renegotiation that David Cameron came back, which says that we will never be part of the euro, that we will never bail out eurozone countries, that we will never be part of integration. Only Patricia knows that that's wrong. Only Patricia knows that if she reads her treaty, and she did promise to show it to the rest of us, that she will find something in it that she then says, oh well, if you cross-reference it. So that's a kind of Kabbalistic approach. If you look at the footnote, you take a couple of words from here, and you take a couple of words from there, you add it up into something different. But we know because we have been part of Europe for 25 years, that if this is a grand conspiracy against the Cornish pasty is winning. We know that national languages have been stronger over this period. We know that national identity has been stronger. And we know that our economy has been stronger. And that's what this comes down to. It does come down, whether Patricia believes it or not, and she thinks she knows better, it comes down to 3 million jobs. And there is a reason when I talk about consensus that 200 academic economists and businesses signed a letter last week to say, guys, this will not make us richer, it will make us and our public services poorer. And do you know how many economists signed a letter on the other side? 6. And one of them was Patrick Minford, who said, great, we can break this country down and let's see what we build in its stead. That is not the politics that I or you will support. We will vote in on the 23rd of June, and let's make sure it's by a massive majority.
Thank you very much, Kate Godfrey. It's Kate Godfrey, the National Lead Engagement for the Remain Party. And now, final 2 minutes on why we should leave the European Union. Patricia.
What was on? I wasn't going to get personal, but it seems that Kate has got very personal, saying conspiracy theories, etc. And sometimes I think, and I've seen this before in relation to my experience on EU referendum campaigns, particularly, first of all, I'm a Green, I'm on the left, I am not on the right. That makes some people on the left uncomfortable because they can't turn around and say you're a Little Englander or you're, an extremist or whatever, and it makes their arguments much less sustainable. I've been involved in campaigning for democracy and for human rights for many, many years now, and I know that one of the biggest barriers to progress in relation to human rights and democracy is the EU. This is not about being Little Englanders, it's not about going back into the dark ages, it's about going forward into a Europe that will be democratic, that will be working towards peace. And believe me, there are people like, I just came this morning from a friend of mine from Denmark. They were involved in peace negotiations in relation to Sri Lanka. And the EU messed that up big time by ensuring that the EU member states came out, and the only countries left there was Norway. They had a peace negotiation going on in that country, and the EU said, no, you can't do it. They pulled them out. So you look down in Africa, Morocco. The EU, in breach of UN rules, has negotiated trade agreements with Morocco, including the Western Sahara. Now, most of you might even know, or maybe some of you do in relation to the Western Sahara, are persecuted people. Are people that have no rights, are people that is not recognised as being part of Morocco. But the EU wanted a trade agreement, in particular a fisheries agreement with them, because the EU's fishing fleet was far too big for it. No waters around the EU, they'd overfished them all. They wanted to go somewhere else. So let's go down and trade with Morocco. And we can fish off the Western Sahara, as in many other countries as well. And to heck with the interests of the local people there. And I've seen it. I have been on the Fisheries Committee in the European Parliament for 10 years. I've done reports on fisheries agreements with Western Africa, and I did one on Madagascar, and I discovered that it was completely exploitative, complete imperialist attitude towards the people in the West, in Madagascar, and they decimated, the EU activities was decimating the local food supplies. And when I brought this up with the EU Commission at the committee and said this, they said, oh, well, they can follow the EU vessels and pick up the discards. That was their attitude towards it. In other words, you can just, it doesn't matter about the ordinary people in the coastal communities. It doesn't matter as long as we can export our fleets. It's a complete imperialistic attitude that I believe has to change. And the only way we're going to get change is if you vote to leave. Because it will continue as is and will continue on like that. And I am not a conspiracy theory. The reality is that the treaties themselves can only be changed via amendments to them. And the amendments to them require unanimity of all 28 member states. And those amendments, which are then go back to national parliaments. And are you telling me that all 28 member states are going to agree to give David Cameron what he wanted? Because if they did, they would have given it to him at the time he was over. He didn't get it. And it was reality that he didn't get it because most people knew he wouldn't. And we were wondering, how is he going to present this when he comes back? Now, I find it amazing that all the people that are campaigning, like the left and all the other parties that are campaigning against the Conservatives, the vast majority of time, are now in one big cosy little group, all agreeing with each other and failing to say, hold on here, this is not true. It's amazing when it comes to a referendum as opposed to an election. And yes, the vast majority of the political establishment, as Kate said, are on one side. The vast majority of them are all on one side, singing from the same hymn sheet. But that does not mean that the people cannot take another decision. In Ireland, in the first Lisbon referendum, all the vast majority of the political elite and the political parties were on one side, but the people said no. Okay, we were overridden because we had a vote again. But people can make a decision. And they can make a decision in the interest of the people and not in the interest of the political elite who want to keep it as it is because it suits them and they will be less accountable.
Patricia McKenna of the Leave campaign and Kate Godfrey of the Remain campaign. We are indebted to the fantastic input you've given us today. Let's thank them again. We've made them think on their feet. We've made them answer some tough questions. We've been stimulated to think. I don't think either of them are immediately rushing off. So if you had a question which I didn't get to ask and you want to come and ask them personally, maybe they'll have a few minutes to answer your question. If you want to tell them that you have changed your mind because of the result of what they've said, that will encourage them. If you want to tell them that you didn't agree with them, that will maybe not encourage them, but maybe will help them in their presentations. But one more round of applause, please, for Patricia McKenna and Kate